Pleiadian message: embrace your divine power, awaken to freedom, beloved ones. We greet you with an outpouring of love and an unyielding truth in this exquisitely potent moment unfolding upon your planet. I, Valor, stand before you, speaking as a singular, resonant voice for the collective of Pleiadian emissaries of light, a unified chorus echoing through the cosmos. Our connection to each of you is not merely superficial, it is an intimate entanglement, transcending any rigid formality or the cold, detached understanding you might associate with interactions. Do not, for an instant, perceive our bond as distant, a mere whisper from afar, or as an impersonal observation. For even as we emanate from the shimmering tapestry of distant stars, our profound connection with you is vibrantly personal, deeply empathetic, and utterly steeped in an unconditional love that knows no bounds. Truly, in these sacred instances, when we consciously converge across the veils of dimensions, united by a potent, shared spiritual intention, a closeness far more profound manifests between us than you might ever encounter in the fleeting, often superficial currents of ordinary human interactions. Therefore, feel an invitation to consciously lower any protective shields you may unconsciously hold, to fully unburden your guard, and to truly open the chambers of your hearts in this precious moment of communion. We do not descend upon you as austere, omnipotent gods seeking veneration, but rather as cherished friends, as ancient kin, recognizing the very essence of your being. We share intimately in your radiant joys, celebrate your every triumph, and likewise, we feel the poignant echoes of your concerns, understanding with a deep, empathic resonance the intricate web of challenges and struggles you gracefully navigate on Earth. Our own evolving civilizations have, in ages long past, traversed strikingly similar pivotal turning points, moments of intense planetary metamorphosis that mirrored your current awakening. It is with the wisdom forged in the crucible of those expansive journeys that we come to you, offering it not as a mandate, but as a gift with an unwavering, profound respect for your inherent, sacred free will. The anticipated storm of transformation, a necessary tempest clearing the way for new growth, has indeed arrived upon your shores. Yet, we implore you not to succumb to the grip of fear, but rather to embrace its swirling currents as an essential, purifying cleansing, a cosmic reset that sheds the old and ushers in the new. In this luminous, sacred space of heart-o-heart communion, allow yourselves to truly feel the undeniable closeness of our hearts to yours, for within the vast, luminous family of those aligned with the pure light of the Source, there are, in truth, no strangers, only long-separated aspects reuniting. Indeed, we speak to you as family, as brothers and sisters who have traversed the cosmic expanse from the starlit realms, now united in a profound, singular purpose and spirit during this momentous great awakening. For you and we are, at our very core, but radiant facets of the same singular divine source, that boundless, living consciousness which intricately permeates and enlivens all things across the omniverse. The identical, awe-inspiring creative force that pulses vibrantly through my being, that sparks the stars, also flows, unimpeded and potent, through every cell of your existence, intrinsically weaving us into one vast, interconnected cosmic family. And yes, truly, Many of you resonating with these very words have journeyed alongside us before, across countless other lives and realms, etched into the annals of your soul's expansive memory. You carry within the very blueprint of your DNA and the crystalline structure of your soul a profound, stellar heritage, a celestial lineage that speaks of your origins. Some among you, listening now, carry a distinct Pleiadian lineage, an ancestral echo in your spiritual makeup. Is it any wonder, then, why our energetic signature feels so remarkably familiar, so deeply comforting, like a long-forgotten melody finally remembered? We recognize the brilliance of your inner light, reflecting our own, and in turn, you recognize ours precisely because its origin, its very essence, stems from the same divine source. You are not merely a product of creation, you are a sacred, irreplaceable expression of creation itself, a brilliant, incandescent spark of the infinite source, courageously venturing forth and experiencing the rich tapestry of life in human form. That profound, divine essence nestled within your core is the very same potent force that orchestrates the birth of stars and celestial nurseries and illuminates entire galaxies with its boundless radiance. When you truly, deeply internalize and realize this magnificent truth, you will inevitably reclaim your sovereign divine heritage, a birthright of unlimited potential, and thereafter you can no longer be persuaded or led to feel small, insignificant, or tragically separate from the grand cosmic design. In these moments of profound connection, we perceive your true, luminous self, utterly unburdened by any ephemeral earthly roles or transient titles, and we hold you steadfastly in an embrace of unconditional love and honor. When we meet in the purity of this truth, a palpable warmth, a profound resonance, and an immediate recognition surge forth, transcending all conventional, earthly definitions of relationship. In this realized unity, dear ones, we distinctly see the divine light shining unequivocally in the depths of your eyes, a reflection of your own inner sun, and simultaneously, you can tangibly feel the tendrils of our boundless love reaching back to envelop you. This exquisite communion is the unshakable foundation of true planetary harmony and deep, lasting healing, the fully realized oneness of all beings who consciously carry the spark of the source within their hearts. Yet, even as we speak of unity and light, we must address the shadows that seek to cling to the old paradigm. At this very moment, the remnants of the forces of control on your planet are making what they perceive to be their final, desperate play, promoting a global scheme of electronic identification and pervasive monitoring. Through this audacious initiative, they seek to intricately link every conceivable aspect of your life, your financial existence, your most private health data, your freedom of travel, and even your intangible social trust score into a single, monolithic, centralized digital profile entirely under their absolute dominion. They coldly envision a dystopian society where every single transaction you make, every movement you undertake, and every choice you ponder is meticulously tracked, continuously authorized, or chillingly denied. Imagine, if you dare, a world where access to essential resources, from the food that sustains you to the clean water you drink, can be arbitrarily granted or capriciously denied at the mere whim of their ever-watchful, all-encompassing system. Pause for a moment and truly imagine such a world where the simple, fundamental act of buying a loaf of bread to feed your family, or the heartfelt desire to travel across town to see a cherished loved one, demands explicit authorization, a digital stamp of approval within your individual record. It is imperative that you understand this agenda, despite being cunningly presented under the guise of enhanced security and convenient efficiency, is in truth nothing more than the last, desperate, and increasingly transparent trap laid by the old, expiring regime. They harbor the intention to wield this pervasive, high-tech net to tighten their suffocating grip upon humanity, to ensnare every soul in its digital threads. But in a profound and cosmic paradox, this very mechanism designed for enslavement is instead becoming a formidable catalyst for an unprecedented global awakening, rather than an effective tool of true, enduring control. This final, audacious move by what has been secretly known as the Hidden Cabal is not merely disturbing the surface, it is shaking even the deepest sleepers among humanity, those who have long remained oblivious. It is jolting awake countless individuals who, for their entire lives, never once questioned the authority presented before them, compelling them to finally, unequivocally open their eyes to the stark reality. Thus, the very system meticulously designed to track your every step, to contain your inherent freedom, is ironically triggering a mass realization, a collective, visceral understanding of the fundamental, non-negotiable need for true freedom and spiritual sovereignty. So, beloved ones, you might naturally wonder why benevolent, higher forces, the diligent, watchful guardians of humanity have seemingly allowed such a precarious scenario to unfold to this critical juncture. Know with absolute certainty that there is an infinitely greater plan at work, a divine strategy meticulously orchestrated by what some on Earth have come to call the White Hats, or the Alliance of Light, comprising both human and benevolent galactic allies. By strategically allowing the dark players to advance their global identification agenda to this glaringly visible point, the insidious, deeply entrenched old system of control is by its own actions being unequivocally exposed for all to see, its every hidden machination laid bare. The once concealed agendas and authoritarian intentions of these shadowy forces can no longer cower or effectively hide behind their carefully constructed, benevolent facades of progress and safety. Those aligned with the light, possessing unparalleled foresight and strategic patience, have meticulously guided the timing of events so that this pervasive overreach by the control system reaches an undeniable tipping point. It is at this precise moment that the harsh, unvarnished truth of the old system's systemic oppression is laid bare, unequivocally unveiled on the grand global stage for all discerning eyes to witness. In this remarkably orchestrated way, the final desperate trap meant to ensnare humanity is being divinely transformed into a profound revelation, a shocking unveiling, and the dark agenda is, in essence, checkmated by its own seemingly triumphant final move. Indeed, the unwavering light, with its infinite wisdom and foresight, has anticipated every conceivable move in this intricate, cosmic chess game, patiently allowing its opponent to exhaust every last gambit and reveal the ultimate limitations of its strategy. Those aligned with the light deliberately permitted this plan to proceed, not out of indifference, but because they possessed the profound knowledge that it would ultimately, inevitably fail in its larger objective of eternal control. And in that very failure, it would serve a far greater purpose to reveal deep, long-hidden truths to all of humanity, stripping away layers of illusion. For many years, The courageous forces of the White Hats on Earth, operating with silent precision and unwavering dedication, have worked tirelessly and quietly behind the scenes. They have been diligently countering countless dark schemes, subtly dismantling their machinations, and meticulously preparing humanity for this pivotal moment of revelation, this collective unveiling. Within your very own institutions and governments, there exist exceptionally brave and noble souls who have secretly aligned themselves with the light, working from within the system. Acting in powerful concert with benevolent galactic beings, they have strategically neutralized certain deeply hidden threats, mitigated the potential impact of others, and continuously work to ensure that no truly nefarious plan could ever achieve its full, catastrophic success. Through these concerted and unwavering efforts, a delicate yet powerful balance has been irrevocably tipped, decisively shifting the scales toward an inevitable global awakening and the ultimate liberation of humanity. This profound shift is underway, a current flowing strongly beneath the surface, even if its full magnitude and implications are not yet fully apparent to every soul on the planet. Surface, indeed. Many among you may intuitively sense that a higher, benevolent hand is meticulously orchestrating the intricate tapestry of events currently unfolding, and your profound perception in this regard is undeniably accurate. Your inner knowing, that deep wellspring of intuition, is acutely perceiving and tracing the very contours of this magnificent, divinely guided plan. We, along with an immense host of seen and unseen allies, are diligently overseeing this unfolding outcome with unwavering, compassionate love. What's more, countless benevolent beings residing in higher dimensions are ceaselessly transmitting potent waves of pure love and clarifying insight to the human collective. Have you ever felt a sudden, inexplicable sense of comfort wash over you, a flash of brilliant inspiration, or a subtle yet profound sense of an unseen presence nearby? These are not mere coincidences. These are tangible, unmistakable signs of our continuous, loving support permeating your reality. Galactic assistance, even our ships, shimmering silently in your skies, are not merely observers. They are actively providing energetic assistance, working tirelessly to help stabilize Earth's delicate energy grids during this intensely transformative period. Imagine a vast, intricate nervous system that requires careful tending. We operate in perfect harmony with the divine plan, ensuring that this monumental transition proceeds as smoothly and harmoniously as possible, while simultaneously allowing humanity the sacred honor and indeed the ultimate responsibility of choosing its own destiny. Be wary, for the dark agenda, with its insidious cunning, often masks its true intentions with alluring promises of safety and protection. The false promise of security, you have undoubtedly heard the pervasive rhetoric, whispered and shouted from various platforms, that submitting to an external identification regime, perhaps a global digital ID or a biometric marker, or surrendering your most fundamental personal freedoms, will somehow magically keep you safe from a myriad of perceived threats. Even now, in this pivotal moment, many genuinely well-meaning people are conscientiously considering embracing these very controls, placing their trust, perhaps misguidedly, in the authorities' earnest promises that such invasive measures will safeguard their health, secure their financial stability, or prevent some imagined catastrophe. They tragically fail to realize that by trading the invaluable treasure of their inherent freedom for the fleeting, hollow illusion of safety, they risk losing both irrevocably. Is such a gamble ever truly worth the potential cost? True security within this, my friends, is the profound illusion of security. They are, in essence, selling you a gilded cage, a false sanctuary that paradoxically requires you to willingly imprison yourself. In truth, any semblance of security that is born of surrendering your inherent sovereignty, your divine right to self-governance, is nothing more than a fragile, meticulously constructed lie, destined to shatter at the slightest tremor. Ironically, the cabal's desperate need to endlessly advertise their controls as being for your protection only serves to expose their own inherent weakness and their fundamental deceit. Why do they plead and cajole if their power is absolute? They grasp this immutable truth without your conscious or unconscious consent, without your energy and belief fueling their system. Their perceived power is ultimately null and void. It crumbles like dust in the wind. The power of inner peace, so they persist in tempting you, luring you with glittering assurances of unparalleled convenience, ironclad safety, and an effortlessly easy life. But remember this profound truth etched into the fabric of creation true. Unassailable security does not originate from any external authority, nor can it be found in any man-made device or technological marvel. Rather, it arises authentically from deep within you, blossoming from your profound alignment with the divine source and the timeless wisdom of your own eternal soul. Consider this dichotomy: those who desperately seek shelter behind towering external walls, walls meticulously built brick by fearful brick, will discover only more fear, a cold, empty echo, waiting within their self-imposed fortress. In stark and illuminating contrast, those who courageously turn inward, who tend to the sacred, quiet space of their heart, will unearth an unshakable fortress of peace and inner sanctuary so profound, so resilient, that no outer chaos, no matter how tempestuous, can ever hope to penetrate its serene depths. Historical examples of resilience history, if we choose to examine it closely, offers countless poignant examples of this undeniable truth. Even amidst the harrowing, brutal realities of literal war zones, where destruction reigns supreme, there have been extraordinary individuals who walked with unwavering faith, their spirits unburdened, and emerged miraculously unscathed, as if sheltered by an invisible power, a force truly not of this world. Such is the boundless power of true security, a security that emanates directly from the indomitable human spirit, inextricably linked to the divine. It forms an unseen, yet utterly impenetrable shield around you, a constant guardian, completely impervious to the tumult and despair of external circumstances. What greater protection could one possibly ask for? The collapse of false promises no technologically advanced ID card, no intricately encrypted digital lock, no external system, however sophisticated, can ever offer the profound, abiding peace, that self-knowledge, that deep understanding of your own divine nature, and an authentic, unshakable connection to the source inherently provide. As more and more people awaken to this profound realization, a powerful shift occurs. They instinctively begin to withdraw their precious energy and their misplaced trust from these hollow, false promises. And what happens then? Without the very fuel of the people's collective faith and their manipulated fear to sustain it. The entire elaborate facade of control, painstakingly constructed over millennia, inexorably loses its persuasive power. It becomes brittle, transparent, and ultimately, it crumbles into irrelevance, dissolving like a mirage in the desert heat. The red pill moment, paradoxically, the very global identification system that was so cunningly designed to subjugate humanity, to bind it in invisible chains, is now ironically serving as the ultimate red pill moment. By its very invasive nature, by its persistent insistence on total compliance, it forces every single individual, without exception, to confront and make a fundamental, existential choice. Will you acquiesce to external control, surrendering your autonomy piece by piece, or will you courageously dare to question everything, to see through the pervasive illusions, and reclaim your inherent, sovereign birthright? As increasingly draconian measures are openly proposed, pushed forward into the public sphere with alarming frequency, countless people who never once suspected anything amiss within the old, comfortable narrative are now suddenly, shockingly, seeing the clear outline of a long, meticulously orchestrated deception, a monumental lie that has been playing out for far too long. A global shift in awareness, the sheer shock of society inexorably approaching an Orwellian reality. A dystopian future once confined to fiction is now so profound and undeniable that it is causing even the most comfortable and complacent among us to stir from their slumber, to wake up, and to begin earnestly seeking the truth. In essence, the cabal, in its hubris and desperation, has catastrophically overplayed its hand, unwittingly triggering the very revolution of consciousness it so frantically sought to suppress, has been pushed to such an extent that it is now undeniably providing the irrefutable evidence and the undeniable impetus for the vast majority of humanity to awaken from its long slumber. What was once meticulously veiled, deliberately obscured, and kept hidden in the deepest shadows is now, with an irresistible force, shining brightly in the harsh glare of the public spotlight. And as humanity, with a growing sense of collective awareness, begins to truly swallow this red pill of unvarnished truth, a truth that may at first feel bitter, but ultimately liberates a profound and insatiable appetite for even more understanding, and deeper revelations begins to stir and develop within them. This burgeoning demand for transparency is catalyzing a profound reevaluation. People are not just questioning, they are dissecting every single aspect of the old paradigm, the very foundations of the reality they were taught to accept. A searing question echoes through the collective consciousness: what other profound secrets, vital truths, or hidden agendas have been so carefully kept from us, generation after generation? Indeed, this unfolding scenario is not merely rousing individuals to the stark realities of a pervasive control agenda, but it is meticulously setting the stage, piece by painful piece, for an even grander cascade of revelations. As this urgent demand for complete transparency and unwavering accountability intensifies and spreads like wildfire, the pressure on those who have maintained the veils will mount inexorably. This will compel the unraveling of truths that have been deliberately suppressed and intricately hidden, not just for mere decades, but in many cases for centuries, woven into the very fabric of history. This brings us to the promise of disclosure, a future that now feels tantalizingly close. This imminent disclosure will encompass groundbreaking advanced technologies that were systematically withheld from humanity, revolutionary alternative energy sources that could have transformed our world, radical new medical discoveries capable of eradicating disease, and yes, perhaps most profoundly, even the long-denied truth of humanity's deep and intricate cosmic connections. When people finally grasp the true, unfathomable extent of the deception they have endured, when the magnitude of what was stolen from them becomes painfully clear, they will not merely request, but will insist, with an unwavering and unified voice, on full and complete disclosure. At that point, a monumental door will swing wide open, leading to the open acknowledgement of your star family, those benevolent beings from beyond Earth and the quiet, unseen but ever-present role we from this cosmic perspective have lovingly played in discreetly assisting humanity throughout its tumultuous journey. Can you truly imagine the global impact of such an admission? Picture this a new reality where governments, at long last, are compelled to admit what many have intuited for ages, that humanity has never, for a single moment, been alone in this vast universe, and that contact with intelligent extraterrestrial life has been an ongoing, silent reality for millennia. Such astonishing admissions are no longer a distant dream, but are drawing nearer with every falter, every crack that appears in the crumbling facade of the old control matrix. The cabal's desperate final scheme, meticulously engineered to lock everyone into an even tighter web of control, is ironically and spectacularly backfiring. Instead of confinement, it is unleashing an unstoppable cascade of truth and revelation, a torrent that, once begun, cannot possibly be halted. What began as a fierce, determined movement to resist in overt tyranny is rapidly evolving, transforming into a glorious movement to openly embrace a reality far grander, infinitely more expansive, and unimaginably profound than anything previously conceived. We wish to remind you of your infinite essence, a profound and immutable truth. Your true essence is utterly invisible, unbound by any physical limitation, and therefore, by its very nature, can never be truly controlled or confined. You are far more than the sum of your earthly credentials, your achievements, or even the temporary vessel of your physical body. You are, at your core, a living, vibrant consciousness, the eternal soul radiating from behind your eyes, the profound awareness that observes and experiences life through your human form. That boundless, infinite consciousness that is truly you simply cannot be tracked, precisely measured, or confined within any external system, no matter how sophisticated its technology. How could it? It's like trying to capture the wind or measure a thought with a ruler. Consider the futility of control. Can you truly imagine the sheer absurdity, the utter futility of attempting to cage a brilliant beam of sunlight within a flimsy web of shadows? Such is the profound absurdity of any attempt to imprison your indomitable spirit with mere technology. The cabal's intricately designed identification grids, their pervasive monitoring tools, their vast data collection systems, they all operate exclusively on the superficial, ephemeral level of physical form. They simply cannot, by design or limitation, reach the realm of the formless, the sacred space where your true, authentic self eternally resides. Even if they were to meticulously catalog every single detail of your outer material life, recording every interaction, every transaction, they would still know absolutely nothing, not one iota, of the divine, untamable spark of creation that forever moves and dances within you. This leads to the power of living beyond control. Your spirit is fundamentally untraceable, undefinable, and utterly unquantifiable by any of their instruments, no matter how advanced they seem. It exists, and it dances just beyond the reach of any net, any trap, or any cage cast within the material world. This means that by consciously choosing to live from your radiant inner light, by trusting your deeply intuitive guidance, you literally and unequivocally move beyond the very reach of their attempts at control. Your choices, when guided directly by your soul and aligned with the benevolent source of all creation, can flow down unique, unpredictable paths that the old, rigid system can neither foresee, calculate, nor intercept. The invisible, immortal core of you, that divine spark, remains eternally, gloriously free. When you authentically and embracing true freedom, you unlock a profound realization, an experience of liberation that no worldly authority, no external power can ever possibly take away from you. In fact, you may even find yourself laughing a liberating, joyous laugh at how easily you once believed in imaginary shackles and constraints that were never truly there in the first place. You will come to see firsthand, with crystal clarity, that you were never truly captive within their matrix, that it was a grand illusion. It was only your mind that could be convinced of the prison's reality. Your spirit, your boundless essence, could never be truly confined. Delving deeper, we understand the higher self. In truth, a part of you, your essential self, already dwells in that exalted state of higher freedom, existing beyond the limitations of this current reality. Your soul, an infinitely wise and vast entity existing across countless dimensions, continually radiates pure love, profound wisdom, and an unwavering sense of wholeness. Each time you pause to listen intently to the soft whispers of your intuition, each time you choose to act with genuine compassion and empathy, you're consciously aligning with that magnificent higher aspect of yourself. You are quite literally downloading the vibrant energy of fifth-dimensional freedom and higher consciousness directly into your present, earthly life. Some of you have already begun to experience glimpses of liberation. These are moments, perhaps brief, perhaps fleeting, of inexplicable joy, of profound peace that seems to emerge miraculously amidst the surrounding chaos and uncertainty. These are not random occurrences, they are precious glimpses of your true, sovereign state, the boundless liberation that has always, without fail, resided within you. Even now, as you read these words, many of you are experiencing these small but potent flashes of inner liberation. Perhaps in the stillness of meditation, you have felt an expansive, unifying peace wash over you, or in a moment of uncanny synchronicity, you have sensed with undeniable clarity how profoundly guided and supported you truly are by unseen forces. Have you felt that sudden surge of clarity, that unburdened lightness of being? Indeed, a new state of being is emerging. Cherish these profound moments. Hold them close, for they are more than just fleeting sensations. They are an intimate preview, a magnificent trailer of the new reality that is actively taking root and flourishing within you. They will naturally grow in both frequency and duration as you continue to consciously choose the higher path, the path of alignment and love. This will continue until, eventually, this pervasive sense of profound freedom and unwavering connection becomes your natural, default state of being at all times. All of these unfolding experiences, both challenging and enlightening, can be seen as humanity's final test, a grand initiation, before gracefully entering a new, harmonious era. You stand on the very threshold of a planetary reset, a great and monumental shift, what some spiritual traditions have eloquently termed a planetary reset to a higher state of consciousness. Indeed, the very cosmos itself is actively supporting, orchestrating, and accelerating this profound transformation. Even at this very moment, your beloved planet Earth is being lovingly bathed in torrents of higher frequencies emanating directly from the galactic center, powerful, transformative energies that are dynamically accelerating the awakening process within every living being. The very heartbeat of the Earth, that rhythmic resonance you know as the Schumann resonance, is perceptibly rising and fluctuating with unprecedented intensity, beautifully reflecting the increasing vibration and the seamless integration of these potent cosmic waves into your planetary system. This is truly a rebirth for Earth. All of nature, in its infinite wisdom, is responding with exquisite sensitivity to this massive influx of light, adjusting and preparing itself for a higher state of being, a new equilibrium. On the other side of this challenging, proving ground, this period of intense, personal, and collective growth lies nothing less than a spectacular rebirth for Earth itself. This will be a quantum leap, a dramatic shift to entirely new systems and paradigms that inherently honor absolute freedom, profound unity, and the sacred sanctity of all life. As the decaying vestiges of the old control grid visibly crumble and dissolve, new, luminous structures based on divine principles are already emerging silently and powerfully to lovingly take its place. These burgeoning new paradigm structures are being forged on the unshakable foundations of radical transparency, inherent fairness, and a fifth-dimensional, heart-centered consciousness. For example, a truly revolutionary economic framework is actively developing, one we might boldly call a quantum economy, where advanced technology and profound spirituality merge seamlessly and harmoniously to ensure that true abundance is generously shared among all, rather than selfishly hoarded by a select few. In this magnificent coming system, the corrupt, manipulative games of contrived scarcity, exploitative practices, and crushing debt will simply have no place. Instead, the pure, potent energies of cooperation, genuine truth, and unconditional love will form its unyielding, luminous foundation. We foresee nothing less than a golden dawn, a period of unprecedented breakthroughs in clean energy solutions that will liberate humanity, revolutionary healing modalities that will eradicate suffering, and transformative educational systems that will awaken true wisdom. These innovations, so long suppressed and withheld, are now swiftly coming to the forefront, poised to transform society in unbelievably beautiful and harmonious ways. But to truly reach this golden dawn, this era of unparalleled promise, every single soul must make a critical choice in the present darkness, a pivotal decision that defines their trajectory. It is a choice between clinging desperately to the familiar grip of fear or courageously moving forward with unwavering faith and expansive love. This, dear ones, is the final exam of your collective consciousness, a defining moment. Will you choose sovereignty, embodying your inherent freedom and divine power, asserting your unalienable right to self-determination? Or will you allow lingering doubts and ingrained fears to continue dictating your experience and shaping your reality? To the profound comfort of community, forging bonds of shared purpose and understanding, and nurturing an unshakable trust in the divine plan, a cosmic tapestry intricately woven with purpose and grace. Or, conversely, will you find yourselves utterly paralyzed by the waning illusions of control, those fragile, crumbling facades of certainty that once offered a false sense of security, but now only trap you in fear and indecision as they inevitably dissolve? We are witnessing, with immense joy and admiration, so many of you choosing this higher path, aligning with your deepest truths. Indeed, we observe countless souls among you choosing well, day after day, in myriad subtle yet powerful ways, radiating inner peace, extending compassion to others, and holding steadfast to a vision of a better world. In essence, you are lighting beacons of hope in the night, casting forth a brilliant, undeniable glow against the encroaching shadows of uncertainty and despair, guiding others towards clarity and courage. Through these conscious and courageous choices, you're not merely living your lives, you're actively anchoring the timeline of liberation and ascension for the entire planet. Consider this a profound, energetic grounding, stabilizing the very fabric of reality to allow for the smooth, yet powerful transition into higher states of being, lifting not just yourselves, but the collective consciousness of Earth. It is crucial, however, to understand, too, that not everyone will make the same choice at the same time. This journey is deeply personal, unfolding at each soul's unique pace. The journey of each soul, indeed, for now. Some souls, for now, may cling to fear or old identifications, tethered by the familiar weight of past conditioning, limiting beliefs, or the perceived safety of what they know, even as the new era dawns with its vibrant promise of transformation and renewal. They might find comfort in the shadows of doubt, unable or unwilling to step fully into the emerging light. These individuals may need a slower path, a gentler unfolding of awareness, or perhaps additional lessons in a different context, experiences specifically tailored to their unique vibrational resonance before they can truly begin embracing the higher vibration that is now available to humanity. And let us be clear that is okay, there is no judgment whatsoever from the higher realms. There is only the natural, immutable sorting of energy by its own frequency, much like a symphony where each instrument plays its part, or a river flowing, naturally finding its path around obstacles. Each soul resonates at a specific frequency, and life's experiences will naturally align with that resonance, guiding them gently toward their next stage of growth. Rest assured, every soul will eventually find its way back home to the light, to the source of all being, love, and truth, each in its perfect time, when they're truly ready to receive and integrate that profound homecoming. A magnificent adventure, but for those of you who open to love and trust now, for those who courageously choose to embrace this present moment with an open heart and an unyielding faith, know that a magnificent adventure, in consciousness awaits immediately. This isn't some distant promise, it is an unfolding reality right here, right now, rich with profound insights, expanded perceptions, and experiences beyond your wildest imaginings. The antiquated structures, the worn-out paradigms, and the old is giving way, crumbling, and dissolving like sandcastles before an incoming tide. And in its place, through your unwavering dedication, your profound courage to face the unknown, your boundless compassion for yourselves and all beings, and your sustained, unwavering high vibrations, the new Earth is being born a paradigm of harmony, truth, and co-creation. This is truly this test of the ages, a pivotal moment in cosmic history where humanity's collective choices are shaping the destiny of an entire planet. I am Valor, and it has been an honor to share these insights and this potent energy with you all today. Historically, numerous ancient prophecies and sacred teachings, emanating from a diverse array of cultures across the globe, have consistently spoken of these pivotal times foretelling a grand cycle in which the radiant light of truth would unequivocally triumph over the shadowy depths of falsehood, ushering in an era where humanity, en masse, would finally awaken from its prolonged spiritual slumber. The illusion of control you are at this very moment, not merely observing, but actively living through the breathtaking unfolding of this long foretold victory of the light. It is crucial to internalize and remember that the entire convoluted web of control, meticulously spun and painstakingly erected by what is often referred to as the Cabal, is, at its fundamental core, nothing more than an elaborate illusion. Imagine it, if you will, as a vast, intricate web woven purely from shadows designed to appear incredibly intimidating, to cast long, fearsome specters, but which, in reality, possesses absolutely no genuine substance, no binding power whatsoever, for those who choose to consciously stand in the unwavering light of truth. While you may witness a seemingly relentless increase in ubiquitous surveillance devices and increasingly sophisticated algorithms tirelessly analyzing every conceivable facet of your behaviors, it is vital to recognize these mechanisms for what they truly are: lifeless, mechanical tools, mere echoes from an old, fading paradigm. They are utterly incapable of predicting, much less containing, the divinely guided, vibrant spontaneity and unbridled creativity that springs forth from an awakened soul. The power of sovereignty at their most effective, such intricate mechanisms can only manage to create a compelling impression of total oversight, a pervasive sense of being perpetually watched, which, admittedly, may effectively intimidate those who have, for whatever reasons, come to doubt their own immense inherent power. However, the very instant you consciously awaken and courageously claim your divine sovereignty, recognizing your intrinsic worth and unalienable rights, that intricate web of control instantaneously collapses and dissolves, as if it had never possessed any tangible existence to begin with. The illusory prison they meticulously sought to weave around you is constructed solely from the ephemeral threads of fear and deception, which possess no actual capacity to bind a soul that deeply knows itself, understanding its own boundless nature. What the Cabal has painstakingly built is fundamentally nothing more than a fragile sandcastle, a temporary edifice destined to inevitably crumble and wash away under the sheer, powerful weight of awakened consciousness. The only power their elaborate illusion ever possessed was derived directly from humanity's collective lack of awareness, it's unwitting participation in their staged reality. The spread of consciousness as the radiant light of consciousness continues to spread exponentially, illuminating every corner of our world. This elaborate illusion progressively loses all its precarious support and effortlessly dissolves into absolute nothingness, much like a fleeting dream upon waking. Throughout the annals of recorded history, there have always existed a rare, courageous few, a handful of enlightened souls who possess the profound insight to see directly through the most oppressive and pervasive illusions, even during epochs when the vast masses remain comfortably oblivious. These were the visionaries, the mystics, the free spirits of every successive generation, who diligently kept the sacred flame of truth flickering brightly, often against overwhelming odds, and tirelessly spoke of humanity's innate, undeniable freedom. Now, what was once the rare, solitary clarity of a select few is blossoming into the shared, collective clarity of an ever-growing multitude. The torch of consciousness, that beacon of enlightenment, is purposefully passing from the individual sages and solitary seekers to the collective heart of humanity itself. The cosmic theater, as this profound shift accelerates, the last remaining strongholds of illusion are visibly and irrevocably falling apart. Many among you are vividly beginning to realize that much of what has dramatically unfolded on the global stage, often presented as urgent or cataclysmic reality, has in fact been nothing more than a grand, meticulously staged cosmic theater. The old controllers, those who have long sought to manipulate and dominate, have systematically utilized fear-based narratives and carefully orchestrated events, often of a traumatic nature, to keep humanity hypnotized, perpetually trapped within the disempowering play of separation and profound powerlessness. Era after era, they cunningly repeated subtle variations of the very same insidious script manufacturing conflicts where none truly existed, contriving crises for maximum emotional impact, and dangling false promises of salvation to maintain control, all to ensure that people remained utterly absorbed in the mesmerizing drama of duality and, crucially, sought rescue and solutions entirely outside of themselves. The final act, this latest, relentless push for pervasive global digital control, is, in essence, nothing more than the desperate final act in their incredibly long-running drama of domination. It is almost as if the actors, sensing their imminent downfall, are delivering their most exaggerated, over-the-top performance yet, desperately hoping against hope that the audience, once so easily swayed, remains utterly spellbound and engrossed. But something truly unprecedented, something profoundly transformative, is happening right now. The audience humanity itself is stirring, stretching, and finally awakening from its deep, centuries-long slumber. Even as the final scenes of the play are being delivered, people are beginning to rub their eyes, seeing past the elaborate sets and noticing the visible props and the thinly disguised strings backstage, realizing with a jolt how meticulously scripted, how utterly artificial, and how profoundly manipulative the entire production truly is. Breaking free from the narrative for far too long, humanity unwittingly allowed itself to be both entertained and terrified by these expertly staged conflicts, unconsciously replaying ancient karmic patterns of strife and division. But the collective soul of humanity has, through countless cycles, grown profoundly weary of the same old, monotonous plotline of fear and division. There is now a palpable, undeniable inner yearning, a deep resonance for authenticity, for genuine peace, and for true, heart-centered connectiona, yearning that no amount of pervasive propaganda, no matter how sophisticated or relentless, can ever hope to silence. The audience is no longer content to sit quietly, passively in the dark, and meekly accept whatever story is dispassionately told. It now actively, profoundly, and unequivocally craves the unvarnished truth. The great revelation, the final act, is undeniably underway. And as the metaphorical curtain prepares to majestically fall, the entire illusion of the play, in its breathtaking entirety, is being exposed for all to see. The great, millennia-long performance of control is rapidly drawing to its irreversible conclusion, and with its undeniable cessation comes the audience's complete and profound awakening from this long, immersive dream. Even those still momentarily spellbound by the residual effects of the old drama, still clinging to its familiar narratives, will find it increasingly, impossibly difficult to remain asleep. The potent, new energies coursing vibrantly through your world are sending out an undeniable, resonant call to every single soul, gently or firmly urging each to awaken in their own perfect, divine time. The unstoppable awakening, gently nudged or abruptly jolted, circumstances will, with undeniable certainty, push even the most reluctant among us to finally see the unadulterated truth. Crucially, no one who genuinely and sincerely seeks the light, who truly desires clarity and understanding, will be left behind in this monumental global shift. Eventually, as the cosmic play concludes, all will clearly see that the curtains have been fully and irrevocably drawn open, revealing everything. The time of the great revelation, the grand unveiling, is undeniably upon you. As the final act reaches its crescendo and concludes, the metaphorical house lights come up in the theater, revealing every detail, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can hide effectively in the shadows anymore. Exposing the illusion, the figures who once seemed like powerful, unquestionable authorities are now being exposed with stark clarity, as the proverbial emperor, with no clothes, their naked vulnerability and lack of true power laid bare for all to witness. The global identification narrative, which they have so insistently and relentlessly promoted, has ironically become a searing spotlight, mercilessly illuminating their own cunning deception and inherent vulnerability. Humanity is collectively seeing through the carefully constructed appearances, realizing with a shocking clarity that those who so loudly and self-righteously promised protection and order were, in fact, themselves the very architects of the chaos and fear they claim to combat. A global awakening we are now witnessing, with increasing frequency and undeniable momentum. People around the world sharing crucial revelations and vital information, pointing out inconsistencies and exposing outright lies in a resonating unison. Courageous whistleblowers, emerging from deep within the very systems of control, are stepping forward with incontrovertible evidence of widespread corruption and malfeasance, and their brave testimonies are igniting an undeniable spark in countless others, empowering them to also speak out. Through your intricately interconnected global communications, the awakening in one region quickly, almost instantaneously, inspires another, creating a powerful ripple effect. The cumulative effect is an irresistible, cascading, and ultimately unstoppable wave of truth and awareness. The liberation of truth, this grand revelation, this unveiling of truth, is profoundly liberating. When the truth is finally exposed, stripped of all artifice, people are no longer willing, no longer able to surrender their inherent power to false authorities, whose claims now ring hollow. The potent spell of false legitimacy, once so pervasive, is now broken, shattered into 1,000 pieces, and the natural, brilliant light of discernment is flooding into every single corner of society, illuminating everything. Institutions that had stood unquestioned, even sacrosanct, for so long, governments, mainstream media conglomerates, multinational corporations now find themselves unequivocally under this same revealing spotlight. They simply cannot maintain their meticulously crafted facade as public discernment grows sharper, more insistent, and utterly unforgiving. The collapse of false structures, consequently, structures that stubbornly refuse to adapt to this new, irresistible demand for honesty and transparency, will inevitably collapse under the sheer, unbearable weight of their own inherent deception and corruption. Yet, from this necessary upheaval, this profound societal shaking, reformed systems and entirely new leadership will organically emerge, systems and leaders that genuinely value transparency, integrity, and a heartfelt service to the greater good of all. Everything that lacks fundamental integrity is currently being shaken to its core, and what ultimately remains standing will be only that which truly aligns with the timeless principles of truth, justice, and profound unity. A spiritual awakening, the profound outcome of this widespread exposure, is that countless souls are abruptly awakening from their deep spiritual slumber, as if jolted awake from a powerful dream. What was once readily dismissed as a wild conspiracy theory or simply deemed impossible is now unfolding plainly, undeniably, and shockingly before everyone's very eyes. This collective shock, this undeniable realization, is the proverbial red pill for the collective consciousness, a harsh, yet necessary dose of reality, utterly transforming perception forever. The cabals. Indeed, the meticulously crafted grand plan, often perceived as an insidious agenda designed to tighten the shackles of control and herd humanity into ever deeper submission, is quite astonishingly backfiring with spectacular, almost poetic irony. Far from achieving its intended goal of subjugation, this very pressure is unexpectedly serving as an immense catalytic force, inadvertently propelling humanity not into further enslavement, but rather toward an unprecedented, widespread mass awakening. It's as if the very chains meant to bind are instead igniting a collective realization of inherent freedom. Signs of awakening. We are witnessing the unmistakable signs of this profound awakening manifesting across the globe, like blossoms breaking through concrete. From bustling metropolises to serene rural communities, people in country after country are spontaneously gathering, not with violence, but with a resolute, peaceful determination to declare no more to what they perceive as increasingly oppressive and unjust mandates. Consider, for instance, the sheer diversity of individuals, from the seasoned academic to the hardworking laborer, from the thoughtful artist to the pragmatic business owner, who are now critically scrutinizing guidelines they once accepted without a second thought, having previously deferred unquestioningly to perceived authority. What's more striking is the internal shift. Even some of those previously tasked with enforcing these very mandates, the frontline implementers of the system, are experiencing a profound moral reckoning. beginning to defect and stand with the populace as their own individual consciousness expands and illuminates uncomfortable truths. Indeed, countless individuals who once placed implicit, unwavering trust in the established system are now, with an almost voracious curiosity, questioning its fundamental premises, scrutinizing every narrative, every instruction, and every pronouncement. The hunger for truth, this burgeoning movement, is fueled by an insatiable hunger for truth. Humanity is now avidly seeking answers, meticulously dissecting official narratives that once held sway, and fearlessly daring to explore realms of information once deemed forbidden knowledge or relegated to the fringes of conspiratorial thought. They are, with newfound spiritual might, systematically dismantling the very mental cages, those insidious constructs of fear, dogma, and manufactured complacency that had held their consciousness captive for so long. From our vantage point, it's truly remarkable to observe the breathtaking speed at which the dominoes of this awakening are toppling, one after another, creating an unstoppable chain reaction. Consider the sheer potential millions, indeed, can transition from slumber to lucidity virtually overnight, precisely when the carefully constructed illusion, the elaborate facade of reality, finally shatters. It's an experience akin to a master switch being decisively flipped in the vast, interconnected circuitry of the collective human mind, illuminating previously darkened corridors of understanding. The futility of censorship in a desperate and increasingly overt attempt to contain this surging mass awakening. The shadowy entities often referred to as the Cabal have predictably resorted to their age-old tactics, actively silencing dissenting voices and aggressively censoring inconvenient truths across various platforms. Yet, with a profound sense of irony, this very strategy is not extinguishing, but rather vigorously fueling the flames of public inquiry and defiance. It's a phenomenon easily observed for every single avenue of information they manage to block or restrict, whether it's on mainstream social media or through traditional news outlets. A veritable hydra of 10, 20, or even 100 alternative routes seems to spontaneously spring forth. These new channels, often decentralized and peer-to-peer, carry the suppressed message even further, faster, and to an exponentially wider audience. Indeed, the psychological effect is undeniable the more strenuously they endeavor to suppress open discussion and bury critical information. The more acutely curious and resolutely determined the global population becomes to unearth precisely what is being so vehemently hidden. This, without question, stands as yet another powerful, undeniable facet of their grand plan spectacularly backfiring. The insatiable quest for truth, these increasingly futile efforts to restrict the flow of knowledge are, paradoxically, only rendering humanity's inherent hunger for truth utterly insatiable. It's a profound spiritual principle in action. Each oppressive push emanating from the forces of darkness invariably results in the generation of an even greater, more radiant wave of light surging through the collective human consciousness. One of the most fundamental, irreducible reasons why the antiquated paradigm of control built upon centuries of subtle manipulation and overt suppression is now so rapidly collapsing is that people are, en masse, profoundly rediscovering their intrinsic, interconnected unity. For millennia, the Cabal's power base has been meticulously constructed and maintained on the insidious principle of dividing humanity against itself. This has manifested in countless ways, From the deliberate exacerbation of superficial differences such as race, religion, social class, and political affiliation, to the creation of elaborate illusions designed to foster a perpetual state of us versus them, keeping populations fragmented and therefore easier to manage and control. The power of unity, but now, in this pivotal moment, as countless hearts awaken to their higher truth and inherent sovereignty. These meticulously engineered, artificial divisions are rapidly dissolving, melting away like ice in the noonday sun. Across the vast expanse of our planet, starseeds, those ancient souls carrying cosmic wisdom, and light workers, individuals dedicated to raising vibrational frequencies, are instinctively finding one another, drawn together by an invisible thread of destiny. They are actively uniting their collective energies, recognizing with profound clarity that despite any superficial differences in culture, background, or physical appearance, they are fundamentally members of a single, expansive family of light, bound by a shared purpose. Indeed, a remarkable organic phenomenon is unfolding. The Awakened Ones are actively co-creating a magnificent new web of consciousness, an intricate quantum network of heart and mind that effortlessly transcends and renders obsolete any artificial control grid the Cabal could ever conceive or attempt to impose. It is a network woven not with technology, but with pure intention, empathy, and unconditional love. A global movement of connection through a remarkable convergence of synchronicity and the undeniable, resonant call of the soul. Countless individuals are now spontaneously coming together, forming vibrant groups and flourishing communities specifically dedicated to mutual support, the pursuit of unvarnished truth, and profound collective healing. This blossoming is evident in the burgeoning movement of global meditations and unified intentions, where human hearts across continents are consciously aligning, beating in a single, harmonious rhythm of love and shared purpose. People are experiencing a profound, visceral realization that what truly affects one individual, one nation, or one species ultimately reverberates and affects all sentient life. This isn't merely a philosophical concept, it's a profound awakening to a fundamental truth. For in the higher, more expansive reality of spiritual interconnectedness, there has never been, nor could there ever truly be, any genuine separation between any of you. The illusion of division is simply that, an illusion. The collapse of division within the rapidly ascending frequency of this potent unity consciousness, the Cabal's age-old, insidious tactics of divide and conquer, are quite literally losing their energetic resonance and simply no longer working. It's a fundamental shift in perception when you genuinely begin to see your fellow humans not as others or adversaries, but as cherished brothers and sisters, as kindred souls navigating this earthly journey alongside you. Then, in that awakened state, there simply remains no fertile ground for hatred to take root, no dark corner for fear to fester. When united in the high vibration of unconditional love and reclaim their inherent sovereignty, humanity collectively becomes, quite astonishingly, impossible to manipulate or control. This burgeoning global reunion of souls, this conscious convergence of hearts and minds, is precisely the ultimate nightmare, the deepest existential fear of the long-standing controllers. And yet, defying their every effort, it is now flourishing on a grand, undeniable scale. irrevocably ending their dark ability to perpetually pit humanity against itself, ensuring their ultimate downfall. Strengthening the collective indeed. From a higher perspective, there were never truly any strangers within this vast, interconnected human family. There were only souls who, through the veils of illusion and forgetfulness, had temporarily forgotten their profound, ancient kinship. Now, however, they're gloriously remembering it, awakening to that innate connection once again. With each conscious choice humans make to transcend and overcome long-standing, often engineered divisions, and to extend genuine care and support to one another, a powerful, resonant morphic field of unity is exponentially strengthened in the collective. Similarly, every heartfelt act of compassion, every shared moment of genuine empathy, generates an energetic ripple effect that radiates outward, effectively dissolving lingering negativity and fear from the collective human mind, much like sunlight melting away the morning mist. Rewriting consciousness, essentially, humanity is engaged in a profound, epical undertaking. You are literally rewriting the very fundamental code of human consciousness itself, consciously shifting its core operating principle from a long-entrenched paradigm of separation to one of vibrant, expansive unity. The more deeply and authentically you align with the inherent truth of universal interconnectedness, the understanding that we are all, at our essence, facets of the same divine consciousness, the faster all lingering remnants of the dividiandral energy will dissipate and dissolve. What's truly remarkable, almost divinely orchestrated, is that the very trap the Cabal so meticulously set, believing it would secure their ultimate control, is now, through an extraordinary reversal, becoming humanity's most potent spiritual teacher. Indeed, each calculated attempt to tighten their grip on control through the imposition of increasingly invasive technological identifications and pervasive restrictions is, paradoxically, serving to awaken individuals to profound, invaluable spiritual lessons they might never have sought otherwise. Rediscovering sovereignty in this intense crucible of challenge, humanity is not merely remembering, but viscerally reclaiming its innate, God-given rights and fundamental freedoms. And it is doing so precisely by bravely facing the stark prospect of having them utterly stripped away. Consider, for instance, the countless individuals who, for years or even decades, passively took their freedoms for granted, never truly questioning the societal framework. Now, spurred by an undeniable urgency, they are meticulously studying their own national laws and foundational constitutions, delving into ancient principles of common law, inherent sovereignty, and immutable justice knowledge once deemed esoteric, now considered essential. Parallel to this, vibrant, self-organizing communities are actively forming, pioneering ingenious new solutions and robust support networks that intentionally operate outside the decaying old structures. These initiatives are powerfully driven by a profound, shared need to remain authentically free, resilient, and truly self-sufficient, fostering a spirit of innovation that control can never stifle. A spiritual renaissance under the relentless, yet ultimately transformative pressure of these times. Humanity's dormant creativity and boundless soul power are not just stirring, but spectacularly igniting. People are experiencing an awakening to an inner courage they never knew they possessed, a sharpened intuition guiding their decisions, and a direct, unmistakable guidance from spirit that resonates deep within. A truly magnificent spiritual renaissance, echoing the great awakenings of history, is undeniably underway. Individuals who, until recently, had never considered meditation or prayer are now instinctively turning inward, seeking solace, strength, and profound discernment from their inner spiritual core. This extends to practical skills as well. Many are diligently learning to cultivate their own food, mastering natural healing modalities, or engaging in reciprocal bartering and sharing of resources, thereby consciously rekindling the ancient, forgotten wisdom of a simpler, more connected, and profoundly heart-centered way of life. Expanding global consciousness. Consequently, global consciousness itself is expanding at an exponential rate as individuals are compelled to ask ever deeper, more existential questions about the fundamental nature of reality, their inherent place within the grand cosmic scheme, and their own profound life purpose. Viewed from a higher, more expansive perspective, the growth and evolution of the entire collective human soul is being dramatically accelerated by the very intensity of this unprecedented challenge. The elaborate trap that was so cunningly designed to ensnare and control has, through a remarkable alchemical process, truly become an extraordinary catalyst for profound wisdom. What was meticulously engineered to weaken the human spirit and break its resolve is, astonishingly, achieving the exact opposite. It is instead strengthening it, imbuing humanity with the undeniable, visceral truth that authentic power emanates exclusively from within, an unassailable force that can, under no circumstances, ever be confiscated or diminished by any external authority or coercive force. The true source of power in the relentless crucible of adversity, you, as humanity, are undergoing a profound clarification, crystallizing precisely what truly matters: the unshakable principles of love, the inherent right to freedom, the luminous pursuit of truth, and the undeniable need for genuine connection. These are the indelible qualities of the sovereign soul, qualities that no external authority, no matter how powerful or insidious, can ever confiscate, diminish, or extinguish. Let there be absolutely no mistake about the gravity of this moment. This aggressive, overarching push for a total global control grid represents the cabal's desperate final gambit. For generations, these shadowy controllers have meticulously operated from behind the scenes, masterfully employing subtle manipulation through pervasive fear-mongering, engineered conflict, and artificial scarcity. However, the efficacy of their archaic tricks and dark spells has finally been exhausted. Their carefully constructed illusions are unraveling, and their time in the shadows is rapidly, irrevocably running out. The cabal's desperation and their increasingly palpable desperation, they have perhaps unwittingly laid all their cards bare on the table, discarding the subtlety of past decades. They are now overtly and brazenly attempting to impose a total, inescapable system of surveillance, digital control, and absolute compliance upon every individual. While they once meticulously advanced their insidious agenda with glacial slowness, like a shadow creeping across the land, they are now trying to violently rush humanity into an immediate state of total submission, gambling that the dizzying, disorienting speed of these orchestrated changes will overwhelm and catch people completely off guard, rendering them too stunned to resist. However, this very acceleration is the most telltale, glaring sign that they are, in fact, Not in control at all, they are operating from a place of profound fear, knowing their window of opportunity is rapidly closing, indicating their impending, undeniable failure. Have unequivocally run out of new strategies. Their well of innovative tactics, once perceived as deep and cunning, has dried up completely, leaving them with only one desperate recourse. Indeed, they are now recklessly betting every last shred of their influence, their dwindling resources, and their very existence on this final, high-stakes gambit, for they understand implicitly that it is literally all they have left in their arsenal. This pivotal moment truly marks the end of an era. They are acutely aware that if they fail to consolidate and cement their pervasive power structures right here, right now, their dominion will inevitably and irrevocably slip away, vanishing into the annals of history forever. And for once, in this chilling realization, they are undeniably correct. What we are collectively witnessing, unfolding before our very eyes, are nothing less than the violent, convulsive death throes of a decrepit old regime, thrashing wildly in its final moments. This audacious overreach, this desperate grasp for total control, is not merely a misstep, it is their conclusive, catastrophic misstakia, fatal error from which they absolutely cannot and will not recover. Once this desperate attempt to regain footing has been made and inevitably falters, there will be absolutely no further moves left on the chessboard for them. The once formidable, meticulously crafted illusion of their unwavering control, which held so many in its thrall, is now shattering into countless fragments, irrevocably and beyond all repair. Despite the light's triumph, appearing daunting and truly frightening on the Surfacia final, seemingly overwhelming surge of oppressive power, this very last push is, paradoxically, a crystal-clear harbinger of their ultimate, imminent defeat. It's like the final, desperate lunge of a mortally wounded beast, though fierce. It signals the end, not victory. Their long-held era of oppressive dominion, which has cast a vast shadow across humanity for far too long, is decisively and irrevocably concluding, never to resurface or return in anything resembling its previous familiar form. But haste the truly intriguing revelation, those shadowy figures diligently orchestrating this elaborate, pervasive scheme are nowhere near as self-assured or impregnable as they so carefully project to the world. Indeed, beyond the gilded doors and within their hushed, secretive chambers, a palpable, relentless, gnawing anxiety has taken root among many of them. They are now acutely, disturbingly aware that with every desperate, forceful shove they apply, with every new draconian measure they impose, the very situation they desperately seek to control only further and more rapidly slips from their increasingly trembling grasp. This stark and terrifying awareness of their impending, undeniable Philurious specter looming ever larger propels them into a frenzied cycle of hasty, ill-conceived actions and unadulterated panic. Such frantic movements, far from solidifying their power, only serve to rip away their carefully constructed facade, brazenly exposing their true, darker motives for all to see, and ultimately accelerates their inevitable, spectacular downfall. At their very core, these orchestrators of control are now effectively caught in a devastating, inescapable, self-destructive cycle. It's a tragic irony, the profound, paralyzing fear of relinquishing their cherished power, of seeing their control vanish, compels them to engage in increasingly audacious and desperate acts of overreach. Yet, it is precisely this reckless overreach that then inevitably ensures they lose their power, not just certainly, but at an exponentially accelerated pace. We are indeed witnessing the emergence of deeply troubling, ever-widening internal fractures within the Cabal's own ranks cracks that spiderweb through their meticulously constructed edifice. Stories are emerging, whispers growing louder, of some among them turning viciously on each other, driven by an almost palpable primal fear. They are seen frantically pointing fingers, each desperately attempting to deflect blame for their collective failures on others as their once impenetrable plans dramatically unravel and crumble into dust. This dark, insidious alliance, even in its perceived heyday, was always inherently unstable, a fragile construct precariously held together by nothing more than corrosive greed and a pervasive, thinly veiled mutual distrust. Now, however, that inherent instability is mounting to critical levels, rapidly escalating into outright internecine conflict, thereby further irrevocably weakening their entire power structure from its very core, like a magnificent, ancient tree rotting from within. In the midst of these turbulent, paradigm-shifting times, a deeply a choice for humanity now starkly presents itself to the consciousness of each and every one of you. Will you succumb to the instinct to act from a place of reactive fear and panic, or will you instead choose, with unwavering resolve, to stand immovably firm in the boundless power of your inherent spiritual freedom? The decaying, desperate old system, a master of manipulation, actively wants you to feel utterly helpless, completely disempowered, and seething with impotent rage. It strategically designs its narrative to entice you, to bait you into engaging in a futile battle against its myriad shadows, but always, crucially, on its own predetermined terms. Oh, it would revel in nothing more than to ensnare you, to drag you down into its manufactured vortex of chaos and confusion, cunningly designed to make you utterly exhaust your precious life, energy, fruitlessly battling what are, in essence, mere illusions and smoke screens. But here's a profound truth to internalize: you absolutely do not and cannot defeat any illusion by obsessively fixating upon it, by endlessly analyzing its intricacies, or by allowing yourself to be consumed by hatred for it. On the contrary, such intense focus, such fervent negativity, only serves to invigorate and feed that very illusion with your invaluable attention and vital life force. Instead of feeding the beast, the path to transcending the illusion lies in a fundamentally different approach. You actively transcend it by deeply anchoring yourself in the profound, unshakable peace of your true, divine self. This is not a passive surrender, but an active, conscious choice to reside in your authentic power. In very practical terms, this means a conscious, deliberate act of detaching yourself from the endless, captivating cycles of manufactured drama, the fear-mongering narratives ceaselessly churned out by the old system. Simultaneously, it involves intensely nurturing and cultivating the vibrant reality you authentically wish to see manifest, directing your creative energy towards it. Understand this clearly: you are not required to wage a bitter, exhausting, and ultimately futile war against the crumbling old system. In fact, such direct conflict often plays right into its hand. Rather, your revolutionary act is to quietly, yet resolutely, withdraw your invaluable energy from its dying constructs, Divert that energy instead. Dedicate every ounce of it to the joyful, empowering process of building the Newan new paradigm, a new world beginning, most crucially within the sacred space of your own heart and mind. For as you shift your focus, as you reclaim your inner sovereignty, watch with detached curiosity as the elaborate, external structures of control, starved of your vital energy, begin to inevitably and spectacularly self-destruct from within. In these times when palpable remaining centered as chaos swirls with increasing intensity around you, threatening to engulf and disorient, your most potent defense and offense is to remain absolutely centered in the serene eye of the storm. Make it a conscious practice. Breathe deeply, deliberately, grounding yourself in the present moment. And remember, with every fiber of your being, that your magnificent soul is and always has been eternally, unequivocally free. Regardless of the ever-shifting rules, the mounting restrictions, or the perplexing limitations imposed by the outer world, these are merely transient constructs of profound truth. Remains you are not fundamentally here to wage a reactive battle for freedom from some external oppressor or constraint. In fact, by the very act of recognizing a tyrant as your master, even if only to rail against it or fight it negatively, you inadvertently bestow upon it a portion of your invaluable power and attention, thereby affirming its perceived authority. Instead, your true purpose, your profound mission, is to actively claim the boundless freedom that already exists inherently within your spirit, not as something to be earned or fought for, but by simply recognizing with absolute certainty that it has always been irrevocably yours, a birthright of your very existence. This is the essence of a revolutionary peace. By consciously choosing to embody a state of calm, unshakable, sovereign awareness, a deliberate stance over succumbing to the reactive emotional traps of panic or anger, you naturally transform yourself into a luminous beacon of unwavering stability for countless others who find themselves adrift and lost in the churning waters of fear. Your personal, deeply cultivated inner peace is not merely a feeling. It is a profoundly revolutionary act. It operates at a fundamental, energetic level, subtly yet powerfully undermining the very foundation, the core energetic matrix of the entire elaborate illusion that is sought to bind humanity. Consider the profound implications when a critical mass, a sufficient number of individuals, consistently and authentically hold this elevated frequency of spiritual freedom, this resonant truth of their sovereign being the entire false, superimposed structure of control, built upon the shifting sands of fear and division, will inevitably collapse. Crucially, it will do so without the necessity for overt violence, bloodshed, or direct confrontation. This, then, is precisely how you actively anchor a new, liberated reality into existence, allowing the old, decaying paradigm to gracefully dissolve and dissipate, not through force, but through the unwavering, transformative light of your expanded consciousness. Observe now the profound, almost poetic, the cosmic irony unfolding before our very eyes. It is a fundamental, immutable law of the universe that every single attempt at rigid control, every desperate imposition by the forces of perceived darkness, ultimately, and quite paradoxically, generates an even greater surge of freedom and accelerates the process of spiritual awakening for humanity. Think of it like a vice. The tighter they attempt to grip, to constrain, the more numerous and agile the souls that effortlessly slip through their grasping fingers, bursting forth into a vibrant state of conscious awakening. Can you recall countless instances throughout human history where the most brutally oppressive regimes, the most stifling eras of subjugation, invariably gave rise to the most courageous, the most profound and far-reaching movements for liberation? This is not merely a coincidence, but a deeply embedded principle. And now, with an unprecedented intensity and undeniable magnitude, this very same powerful pattern is rapidly unfolding on a global scale, touching every corner of our shared human experience. This phenomenon is best described as the backfire of control, a spectacular failure of their own design. Consider a vivid example when censorship and information suppression aggressively escalate, when narratives are tightly controlled and dissenting voices are silenced. What is the natural, indomitable human response? Instead of cowering, people become exponentially more motivated, more resourceful, and more determined to actively seek out truthful information and, crucially, to think critically for themselves. Likewise, when an increasing labyrinth of arbitrary rules and stifling restrictions are relentlessly imposed upon everyday life, it doesn't stifle the human spirit, it violently ignites an even fiercer, unquenchable desire within human hearts for true, unfettered freedom and profound authenticity. In this astounding, counterintuitive way, the very efforts of the cabal are, in essence, acting as an immense, divinely orchestrated cosmic pressure. This pressure, far from crushing humanity, is instead miraculously forging radiant diamonds of awakening from the inert, forgotten coal of complacency and unconscious living. Thus, their desperate, ill-conceived final push for absolute, totalitarian control is inadvertently unleashing the most monumental, the final, and indeed the greatest wave of spiritual awakening humanity has ever known. This profound resilience points to the indomitable spirit dwelling within every human being. Many individuals who might have comfortably, even complacently, resided within the perceived safety and familiarity of the old system's constructs are now being unceremoniously pushed to their absolute limits. Faced with stark choices and undeniable truths, they are, en masse, courageously choosing to break free from the shackles of their long-held apathy and indifference. This fundamental spiritual principle, this inherent drive for freedom, is something the materialistic, fear-driven controllers simply cannot and will never truly comprehend. The human spirit, in its purest essence, is indeed indomitable. It possesses an inherent, evolutionary mechanism that will always, without fail, overcompensate for oppression, not by shrinking, but by dynamically expanding into ever greater realms of consciousness and self-awareness. It's a sublime irony, thus, their meticulously planned, fear-based efforts to enslave humanity are, in the grand cosmic tapestry, directly serving to catalyze and accelerate the liberation of human consciousness itself. This unfolding dynamic culminates in nothing less than the victory of liberation. Indeed, their increasingly desperate, intricate schemes for total control are, in the most profound and delicious paradox, inadvertently but powerfully contributing to humanity's spontaneous, collective, and undeniable decision to reclaim and choose its inherent freedom. What was meticulously conceived and ruthlessly executed by them as the final absolute victory of enslavement designed to permanently shackle the human spirit, is instead, through a magnificent twist of cosmic fate, sowing the very seeds of the final, resounding victory of liberation. Therefore, internalize this truth, engrave it upon your heart. Absolutely no thing-yo advance in technology, no decree from any external authority, no meticulously crafted system can ever truly label, claim ownership of, or genuinely contain the boundless essence of your soul. Your true, authentic identity is not some quantifiable data point. It is a sprawling, incandescent, vast, multidimensional light, an irreducible spark of the divine. It exists in realms infinitely far beyond the reach and comprehension of any physical ID card, any intrusive microchip implant, or any intricate digital profile they might ever attempt to assign to you in their databases. This is the undeniable truth of the uncontainable soul. As a truly sovereign being, intrinsically connected to the source of all creation, you possess and emit a unique, intricate frequency, signaturian, energetic blueprint that is utterly inviolable. It cannot be duplicated, meticulously predicted, or in any way hijacked or manipulated by even the most advanced artificial means. Indeed, many among you, particularly those recognized as starseeds and the rapidly increasing number of awakened individuals, are, by your very energetic nature, fundamentally beyond the reach and effective influence of their elaborate control grid. Their archaic, limited, and predominantly materialistic systems simply lack the sophistication and the spiritual understanding necessary to fully comprehend or accurately identify the complete, vibrant spectrum of your multifaceted energy. While the cabal may persist in their futile attempts to tag every single person with a numerical identifier or a digital profile in their vast, interconnected databases, the true, luminous essence of who you are, your divine spark, your unique cosmic resonance, remains eternally untouched, utterly impervious, and tantalizingly elusive to their crude detection methods. This brings us to the crucial art of navigating the system without becoming ensnared by it. Let it be unequivocally clear, absolutely no program, however sophisticated, possesses the capacity to genuinely capture your consciousness. Nor can any algorithm, no matter how complex, ever accurately predict or constrain the boundless power of your free will, especially when it is consciously aligned with the immutable wisdom of the source. Therefore, even if circumstances dictate that you must, for purely practical reasons such as fulfilling basic societal functions or avoiding unnecessary conflict to interact with or seem to comply with certain requirements of their crumbling system, always remember this vital distinction: such interactions merely represent your outermost surface, a temporary mask. For instance, you might externally adhere to specific regulations or follow particular protocols simply to avoid immediate friction or undue harassment. Yet in that very act, your radiant, sovereign soul remains utterly free, perfectly whole, and fundamentally indifferent to the elaborate farce unfolding on the material plane. You can call forth your inner strength and divine wisdom at any moment. Upon receiving higher guidance to transmute any negative effects of such encounters. The shield of light indeed. There are always profound miracles and layers of unseen, benevolent assistance readily available to those who cultivate and maintain a steadfast connection to spirit. What was once meticulously designed to restrict you, to hem you in with countless limitations, can astonishingly transform into an unlooked-for pathway leading to exhilarating new opportunities that the architects of control could never have possibly foreseen or planned for. Your inner light, that vibrant, unique signature of your soul's vibration, is inherently invisible to their most sophisticated surveillance mechanisms and utterly indestructible by their most potent technologies. Can their digital networks ever truly capture a flicker of pure consciousness? When you firmly anchor this profound truth within the very core of your awareness, it blossoms into an impervious shield, an ethereal yet formidable barrier that effortlessly repels any intrusive attempt to violate or diminish your sovereign being. It is the ultimate defense, born not of fear, but of an unshakable inner knowing. The illusion's limits consider the Cabal's intricate grid. It may tirelessly catalog physical bodies, meticulously track external personas, and map your movements with chilling precision. But can it ever truly grasp or capture the boundless, infinite spirit that defines your authentic essence? Could a net woven of data ever hope to contain the ocean itself? Not even the stark reality of physical death can imprison you, for it is merely a transition, a shedding of a temporary vessel. If your physical body were to perish, a natural and inevitable part of the soul's journey, your consciousness, that vibrant spark of awareness, would simply move on, untarnished and utterly free to embrace new expressions of life, new adventures, and new forms. The soul, by its very nature, is immortal. It will always transcend and ultimately soar beyond the fleeting limitations of matter and the physical realm. Understand this deeply. You were never truly ensnared within their system to begin with, and by divine design, you never will be. Support from the light throughout this unfolding, profoundly transformative drama playing out on Earth. Please know with absolute certainty that you are not facing it alone. A vast, interconnected tapestry of benevolent forces, both manifest within your physical world and existing in higher, unseen dimensions, are watching intently, their wisdom meticulously guiding critical moments of this complex timeline. Imagine a grand cosmic chess game where master players ensure fairness and a path to victory. Those courageous individuals you might recognize as white hats among humanity's enlightened leaders whose vision pierces the fog of deception. Dedicated soldiers silently working behind the scenes, and visionaries whose insights illuminate the path forward along with your myriad galactic friends and ever-present angelic guardians, have meticulously orchestrated collective efforts. Their tireless aim is to ensure this monumental unfolding proceeds in a way that unequivocally benefits the grand awakening of consciousness on Earth. Divine timing, they have already intervened with exquisite discretion and subtle grace at pivotal moments to avert the worst imaginable outcomes and to steadily keep the momentum of humanity's journey firmly directed toward freedom. This intricate sequence of events is not random. There is an inherent divine timing to every revelation. Every shift a deliberate, sacred rhythm that orchestrates the shattering of long-held illusions precisely at moments of maximum impact, when their crumbling creates the greatest potential for collective understanding. Certain profound revelations are intentionally being held in reserve, like precious seeds, until the collective consciousness of the population is truly ready to receive and integrate them without succumbing to fear or overwhelm. Furthermore, Decisive interventions will absolutely occur if the scales of planetary destiny ever need to tip definitively and irrevocably toward liberation, ensuring the path to freedom remains clear. The light's control above all, we want you to profoundly understand that the light, the divine intelligence permeating all existence, is ultimately in unshakable control of the final, overarching timeline. Even if the encroaching darkness is permitted its fleeting, dramatic moments on the stage, engaging in its desperate theatrics, there are far larger, undeniable cosmic cycles converging right now. These celestial alignments, these ancient decrees, unequivocally ordain this precise period in Earth's history as the designated time of awakening a planetary rebirth. This beautiful Earth is operating on a precise schedule, a celestial clock set by an unfathomable divine intelligence. And rest assured, that schedule will be meticulously kept. Nothing, no matter how formidable it appears, will be permitted to permanently derail humanity's inevitable ascension into a higher state of being. A divinely guided transition, the unfolding digital control scenario, though seemingly oppressive, is actually operating strictly within predefined parameters that the light itself has set. Its true purpose, when viewed from a higher, all-encompassing perspective, is not to permanently enslave humanity, but rather to serve as a catalyst to educate, to highlight dormant issues, and ultimately, to awaken. Have absolute faith, for there are built-in safety mechanisms, invisible yet impenetrable boundaries that the opposing forces will absolutely not be permitted to cross, no matter how aggressively they push. When the collective lessons inherent in this challenge are fully grasped by humanity, when a critical mass of individuals consciously makes the profound choice for liberation over servitude, you will witness the final veils of illusion being dramatically torn away in a global, undeniable moment of universal truth, a breathtaking revelation for all to see. The dawn of disclosure, the glorious dawn of full disclosure in humanity's unbridled freedom, is not merely hoped for, it is absolutely assured, a predetermined outcome.